Hello doctors, I am Dr.Vruksha. Today's topic is classification and methods, techniques and process of repertorization. If you want the notes of this lecture, please contact us on our website. So let's begin with the lecture. First, we will start with classification of repertories. Repertories are just tools to help us find the correct remedy. Different repertories are made for different purposes. That is why they are classified into five main groups based on philosophical concept. These repertories are based on a particular philosophy or idea. So this repertory belongs to the logical utilitarian group. They are divided into two types. First is general to particular. Here we start from general symptoms and then go to the specific ones. For example, Kent's repertory, Lippe's repertory, Tiwari's homeopathy and childcare. These repertories give importance to general symptom first. Second is particular to general. Here we start from particular symptoms and then go to general. For example, Bonning-Hussein's therapeutic pocketbook is based on doctrine of analogy and concomitance. Bonning-Hussein's characteristic and repertory by Boger and synoptic key of materia medica also by Boger are based on complete symptoms, concomitants and pathological general. Now second, repertories having no distinctive philosophy. These are called concordance repertories. They are mainly used for reference purposes. Finding symptoms in simple language of prover, these repertories belong to Puritan group. For example, repertories of Henning's guiding symptoms. Gentry's concordance repertory. They are more like reference books. Now let's move to the third type, that is clinical repertories. Here, medicines are arranged according to disease and it is very useful in clinical practice. It has two types. First is the repertory covering the whole body, for example, Borik's clinical repertory and J.H. Clark's clinical repertory. Second is repertory which deals with a part or a disease, for example, Berridge's eye repertory and repertory of Morgan's urinary organs are based on the specific parts of the body. Bell's diarrhea and Allen's repertory of intermittent fever are disease-based repertories. Now fourth is card repertories. These repertories use slips or punched cards which are arranged systematically. For example, Kishore's card repertory, Boger's card repertory, Field's card repertory, Sharma's card repertory. Fifth type is mechanically aided repertories. These are modern repertories in the form of software. They made repertorizations faster, easier, and more accurate. For example, Cara, Radar, HomePath, and Organon 96. Now we will move towards the next half of the lecture, that is repertorization. So if we imagine that we are dealing a disease and we have so many symptoms, our main reference book is the Materia Medica. It is like a massive encyclopedia of thousands of medicines. Finding the exact right medicine just from memory is nearly impossible. That's where repertorizations comes in. Repertorization is essentially an indexing system. Dr. Hahnemann realized we needed a way to logically eliminate medicines that aren't quite right, narrowing down our choices to a small group of highly similar remedies. Once we use this index to narrow things down, we can go back to the Materia Medica to pick the absolute best match, what we call the simillimum. Dr. Hahnemann noted in aphorism 153 of the Organon that we should match the patient's unique characteristic symptoms to this index to find the medicine that covers the maximum number of the patient's symptom. Now, how exactly do we use this index? Because every patient is different, homeopaths have developed different methods of repertorizations. Let's look at the four basic methods. The first is Bonning-Hussein's method. Bonning-Hussein is known as the father of repertory, and his method is heavily dominated by physical symptoms. If a patient comes to you and they don't have many general or mental symptoms, but they have very clear, complete physical symptoms, this is the method you use. It relies on the doctrine of grand generalizations and look closely at concomitant symptoms. Second is Kant's method. This means you have clear mental and physical general symptoms like how the patient reacts to temperament or their overall mood with some characteristic particular symptoms. Third is Boger's method. This is one to choose when your case is rich in modalities. It means you know exactly what makes the patient's symptoms better or worse. It also focuses heavily on pathological generals and particulars. Fourth is clinical method. What happens if a patient only gives you very common everyday symptoms and lacks any unique or general symptoms? That's when you use the clinical method. Finally, to make things even more practical for everyday clinical practice, Dr. B.K. Sarkar gave 6 specific clinical situations in his book, Lectures in Homeopathy. He categorized what to do that what information the patient actually gives you. If you have complete symptoms, use the Hahnemann and Boning-Husson method. If you have strong generals and particulars, use Kant's method. The third method is for when you have physical symptoms but absolutely no mental symptoms. The fourth method is for when the case completely lacks general symptom. The fifth method is fascinating. It's for when you only have common symptoms and pathology. Here you have to play detective with the patient's background. You look at their family history, temperament, skin complexion, their specific organ affected, and the probable cause of the illness. And lastly, the sixth method is used when we rely mainly on technical medical names, that is nosological terms, as our main headings to find the remedy. Now that we understand what repertorization is and the different methods we can choose from, it's time to talk about how we actually do it. Over the years, the techniques of repertorization have evolved significantly. So let's look at the journey from the old method to the tools we use today. Let's start with old method. Before fancy grids and computers, homeopaths relied entirely using a plain paper sheet. They used as first rubrics are arranged according to their hierarchy. Then the medicines are listed against them. The practitioner then writes the medicines with their grades by hands against the symptoms. Finally, they scan the paper to find the common medicines which cover all the rubrics. Now, why would anyone do all this by hand? The biggest advantage is that you learn to use the repertory in a much better way and your knowledge of materia medica drastically improves. When you write it all out, it sticks in your brain. The obvious disadvantage, however, is that it consumes much more time. Because doctors are busy, we eventually developed the modern method, like by using repertorial sheet. Instead of blank paper, this sheet contains a list of medicines that are already alphabetically arranged. It features a number of longitudinal and horizontal columns to easily note down marks against rubrics. By using card, different types of cards are used to find out the simillimum. These cards are arranged logically to help to find out the final remedy. The main advantage of this modern method is simple. It saves time. However, disadvantage is that there is a limited amount of learning compared to writing everything out by yourself. Let's look at how we handle cases today, especially when we are in rush. First, we have the referral way. You don't always need to do a massive full-page repertorizations when a case needs just a quick reference to a few symptoms to finalize the remedy. We use the referral way. For this, your references can simply be books, cards, or computers. Next, by using computers. Using a computer is easy and non-time consuming. The system is incredibly efficient. If the rubrics are selected properly, they can be arranged in the computers and the final calculations of marks are done in no time at all. Now that we know our tools, let's look at the two main ways we actually calculate the results to find out the simillimum. First process is total addition process, which is also known as the aggregation process. You note down the medicines against all of the chosen rubrics. You calculate the total marks for each medicines. Finally, you differentiate the medicines that get the highest marks. While this is thorough, it takes much more time to calculate. Second, much faster way is the eliminating process. This is all about filtering out the wrong answers earlier. You select the absolute most important symptoms and place it at the top. You place the rest of the symptoms below it. Crucially, you only look at the medicines that cover that very first most important symptom. You eliminate everything else. Some practitioners take this step further by using a second or even third crucial rubric to keep filtering. This is called the continuous eliminating process. When using the Boning-Hussein or Boger method, concomitants and pathological generals are often used as these eliminating rubrics. There is one major rule to remember: if your important rubric only has one or few medicines listed under it, do not use it for the eliminating process, or you might accidentally filter out the correct remedy. Overall, this process is time saving, less confusing, and very easy to practice. So, whether you are using plain paper and adding everything up, or using a computer to rapidly eliminate remedies based on a key symptom, the goal is the same: logically working our way to select best possible medicines for the patients to cure them. Thank you.